Welcome back. Here we are on the exciting chapter 8, where we're going to work with some statistics. I know everybody just loves statistics. Pretty exciting. So what we're going to work here, actually we have 4 sheets. Let's just walk through them real quick. We have a GPA sheet. I've zoomed in a little bit on this one. I haven't on the others. I will momentarily. So we have 3 high schools. We're going to look at their ACT scores, do some analysis on that one. Let's see, what else do we have here? It looks like we have some GPAs and days absent, so we'll probably look at some correlation between the number of days absence and grades. And then we have some salaries and how long of service somebody's in a school. So we're going to do some forecasting. If somebody is at our school for 30 years, what can they expect to earn as a teacher? All right, so let's go back to the first page. First thing we're going to do is we're going to save the file as chapter 8 _ your last name. Now I can see that I have completed that task, chapter 8 _ Parker, no longer says your last name. What we have here is a table with student IDs. Those are individual records. We have the schools, and then we have days absence. Notice that the days absence has already been sorted for us in ascending order. We have the cap here, maximum GPA. We have a sample size. Now these are a few students taken from each school. So it's a sample, it is not a population. So if they'd had everybody's GPA, then we would use different formulas than what we're going to use now. We also have an average. So they've just taken the whole average. Right here, these are the ones we're going to use. We're going to use a standard deviation, a variance, and a correlation. We'll also use a frequency command right here. While working in my IT lab, do note that they give you the information in the question. They'll say, figure out a variance or figure out a correlation. And so those are the ones we're going to use. But for standard deviation, I'm just going to go equal standard. Right here, I have standard deviation of population and standard deviation of a sample. Again, we are dealing with a sample. So that's the one I want. Hit tab. What am I looking at? Well, I'm looking at GPAs. You can see max GPA right here. So I'm looking at GPA. So I'm going to hold Shift Control down arrow. I highlight the entire column. Let's scroll back up here. I think that's all I need, just the standard deviation. And I'm going to make this with 1 decimal place. So I'm going to decrease. Standard deviation is 0.8. Next one we're going to work on is the variance. So equals variance. I have a couple options here. I have a population. This is not a population. It is a sample. So I'm going to go variation of sample, tab. Again, we're just going to attack the GPAs, hit enter. Now I have a variance. Let's make that 2 decimal places of 0.65. Now we have a correlation. Is there a correlation between days absence and GPAs? So this one we're going to go equals, and I'm going to just start typing coral right there. That's the one I have. That's the correlation. See right here, it says 2 arrays. I'll go ahead and open up my function argument dialog box. It wants to know, is one array correlated to the other? So I'm going to use GPA, so C4 through C53, shift control down arrow, and then the array for days absence. E4, shift control down arrow, and click OK. Now I see I have my days absence. Again, let's make that 2 decimal places. The last one on this sheet is a frequency command. This one's a little tricky, so do pay attention here. I'm going to highlight all 3 cells at once. Equals frequency, tab. Go ahead and open up my function argument dialog box so I can see what I'm looking for. My first one says data. Data array is the array of reference to set the values for which you want to count the frequencies. Okay, so we're counting the frequencies here. That's going to be my days absence. How often are they absent? Like a VLOOKUP, if we're using breakpoints, we're looking at between 0 and 5 days absence, between 5 and 10 days absence, or 10 or more days. We don't need to go between 0 and 5 or between 5 and 10. Excel will do that for us automatically. Let's grab the days absence, shift control down arrow, and the bin array, well, that's up here where we're looking at days absence. Now, do not click OK. Not yet. My IT lab may have you do it a little differently, but it's going to throw us off. So what I want to do now is I want to divide this number by the number of sample sizes. In my IT lab, let's see, in the practices, it will probably have you come up here in the formula bar, go divided by, and then click on the cell reference and make it probably a mixed reference. This author loves mixed references. And so we're going to go by H5. That's the sample size. Now on your My IT Lab, If you get that wrong, simply type in the sample size. Either way is going to give you the exact same answer. So you can either type it in or you could reference it. For me on this one, I'm going to go ahead and reference because I'm a rebel. I'm going to make it a absolute cell reference. I'm locking in the column and I'm locking in the row. Now, here's the tricky part. Shift, Control, Enter. You need to do them all at once. Now I have my frequencies. We'll set that to a percentage. That's it. I'll see you on the next video.